we grow up into these adult bodies, but those children are still in there. The child that we were is still in there. So that's who we're talking to and saying, look, it wasn't you, didn't have anything to do with your artwork. Now we're adults, we can have more understanding for what that adult, our parent, was growing through at that time. So it's looking at things like that. And when we have big reactions to things, when we're feeling like a little kid, sometimes it's asking ourselves, well, how old do I feel right now? If a situation is coming up and I feel like I'm overreacting to it, or I'm having a big response to something that seems minor, how old do I feel right now? And maybe there was something that happened in your history or in your childhood that makes those feelings really big. And as a child, we don't understand. But now as adults, we can go back and look at those in a different light as adults.
Welcome to the next episode of Healing Millions podcast. Today, I have a very special guest, Christiana Carr superstar, who is joining us on a mission to heal millions of hearts. She is a beautiful woman, beautiful soul with a mission to help people heal within. She has her beautiful book, Heal Within, and she's here to inspire you that you can find hope and dreams, even in the chaos, even in the crazy life. And she knows very well how it is to live in very challenging environment. And she's going to share her story today with you to inspire you and give you hope and dream that you can heal too. Christiana, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you. It's my honor to have you here.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you. I appreciate it. I enjoy being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christiana, for people who haven't heard about you, can you share a little story about who you are and how you help people in this world?
Well, I am Christiana Carr. Chris Carr superstar is what I like to say. I am a sweetgrass water medicine woman, which is my spirit name. So I like to say you're friendly, freaky ass sweetgrass water medicine woman. I've been going through many challenges. Oh, I must say that I am in Canada, Peterborough, Ontario, Canada. I've been going through some struggles, so I started a Begin Within guidance with Wingishni Bay Majeki Kwe YouTube channel. And I started that in 2018 because I've been dragged through some family court issues, post-separation abuse, and things like that. And I still say I'm growing through it. I keep growing. And as Nina mentioned, I had a little book. It was something that I did because I feel like I have to do something. It's called Begin Within, but it's also the logo for my business. I'm working on building a home business, a little shop, like a metaphysical shop and library and bookstore. It's called Begin Within Gifts, Books, and Healing Services. So that's something that I've been working towards. But right now, my business is Begin Within. So that's what I've been doing. And, I've been growing through the darkest nights of my life, and I just amp up my light. I don't fight, I amp up my light. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I have graduated to like a daily crumb where my videos are 10 to 15 minutes. And it's just me sharing some cards as a focus point for daily life lessons and the ways for us to do self-care and to begin within, to look within ourselves, to look at our beliefs, look at our patterns in our family and in our own lives, and how we can switch those and connect with our inner child and give our inner child that love and that peace maybe that they never had or received from the outside. So I'm all about beginning within and getting in touch with that little.
Thank you so
How's
much.
that? I'm
Everything is
nervous though.
fine. You're doing amazing. You love to say that you lead with your love and playfulness. What does that mean to you? And especially during the darkest times.
Oh, that means that I know that I'm always loved, that I know that I'm never alone. I believe in a sweet Jesus God. All my love and relations is what I like to say, and to each their own. Um, and I just love and I love people and I love humans and I love this world and I love to play. And when we can get in touch with that inner child and stay playful, like life, I like to say, take life seriously, but don't take life seriously, but be serious about living your life. And we're here to have this human experience. And I feel a lot of us, we spend most of the time trying to escape it. But if we embrace that and feel all those human feelings, all the yucky ones, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever they are, we're able to heal through that. Because sometimes all they want is just to be acknowledged. So we can playfully acknowledge things. We can turn something into something funny. We can laugh through anything as long as we make up our minds to do that. If we want to sit and be grumpy, fuddy, old duddies or whatever, then that's what we can do. But if that love and playfulness, that's what gets me through. So I don't take this life so seriously, but I'm serious about living my life to the fullest and with as much love and play as I can. So I think that's what it is. And it just exudes from me, I guess. I guess just the way I was made and choose to be. I feel the bitter and choose to grow wiser is what I say, because I am human. So we feel the feelings and we don't have to live there. Just acknowledge them and then we can swing them and feel something that we'd much prefer feeling.
Thank you so much. You said something very important.
Yeah.
You
How's
choose
that?
different approach to life, even though life is hard, even though life is so challenging, and we all have obstacles, but you choose differently. You don't take your life seriously. You just
Yes.
want seriously live fully. And I love that approach, what you said. And you also
Yes.
mentioned that you help people heal the inner child. How exactly you do that? I know you talk a lot about inner child work on your daily crumbs, but for people who don't know anything about what inner child is, how to do it, can you share a little bit how they can start healing from within?
I like to say looking in the mirror and talking to yourself like a child. That inner child is the one that got hurt somewhere throughout life, whether through a big thing that happened in life or maybe even just a little thing that was very impacted that little inside. Like I remember a story in my spiritual psychotherapy class about a 3-year-old coming down to share her artwork with her daddy, who's was working down in the basement where their sewer had just backed up and it was in knee deep of all the stuff from the sewer. So it had nothing to do with the little 3-year-old coming down to share the picture. But hey, daddy, I got a picture to show you. And the daddy says, not right now. And oh, he doesn't like my artwork and I'm not going to. So someplace that little child gets wounded in there and we kind of get stunted in that place. And that child grew up and then never painted again because thought that father didn't have had an issue with the painting. But as we get older, we can go back to that little and maybe we can have some understanding that, oh, it wasn't your artwork. It was because dad was knee deep in the sewage stuff that was coming up in the basement. So it didn't have anything to do with me personally. So we can go back and let that little know that we're the adult here now for that little inside, for our own inner child, who we were, because we grow up into these adult bodies, but those children are still in there. The child that we were is still in there. So that's who we're talking to and saying, look, it wasn't you, didn't have anything to do with your artwork. Now we're adults, we can have more understanding for what that adult, our parent, was growing through at that time. So it's looking at things like that. And when we have big reactions to things, when we're feeling like a little kid, sometimes it's asking ourselves, well, how old do I feel right now? If a situation is coming up and I feel like I'm overreacting to it or I'm having a big response to something that seems minor, how old do I feel right now? And maybe there was something that happened in your history or in your childhood that makes those feelings really big. And as a child, we don't understand. But now, as adults, we can go back and look at those in a different light as adults. And we're not going through that. That little child's already gone through everything. Well, we're here now. So the child survived and helped us to get to this adulthood. And now is letting that child know that they have a safe adult now. Even if you never did growing up, you have a safe adult now in yourself if you choose to be that adult for that child. And be responsible for that healing of that child. Because as adults, I believe we're 100% responsible for healing that child within. Otherwise, that child is going to make all the decisions for us, and we're going to be, acting like adult children in adult bodies, which many of us do. So that's why it's so important to do that within work. And I practice what I preach, and I'm doing that myself.
Yes. You
Does
said
that
something that
have
is really
that?
important, and I really want to emphasize this. Uh, we need to heal that inner child. Otherwise, the inner child will start making decisions for us, like being kids in adult bodies.
Yes.
I think that's a very important message that we want to say to our listeners or people who are watching or listening this interview, because very often decisions that we make today are based on the like who we were as a children, and very often our fears, our doubts, and all of that what we
Mhm.
imprinted from the society, from people around us as we grew, who we are and who we are not, are deeply imprinted in our personality, and this is how we react to outside world. But I love what you mentioned here, like you now have the opportunity to go back and tell that little child that she is loved, she is taken care of, and she has a great artistic skills. I love what you said, and I think this is a very important message for everybody
Mhm.
who is thinking, oh my God, I still feel that pain. I still feel that's like grief. I still feel that anger that I didn't express as a child. I want to give everybody a message. Now you can go back and heal. You have a power to go back and heal. Don't have to relive it because that little child already did. You just need to go back and forgive yourself, forgive people around you, and find that courage to go back. And this brings me to my next question for people
Mhm.
who had a very tragic life, who had many challenges in their life, and they still carry a lot of pain. What would you say to them? How to start and how to even find the courage to go back to that little child and help her heal?
Mhm. I would say finding a safe spot to share your stories. So I learned in the spiritual psychotherapy program that 95% of our healing begins just by having our story heard and witnessed without judgment. So finding that safe space that isn't going to judge you for your story, but where you can just share it. And that helps. Sometimes it's just getting it out and having those words hit the air. And it's not for blame or for shame or anything, but it's for that understanding for what that little went through. There's lots of place on forgiveness and things like that. But if we go back to that little inside and say, I'm the adult here with you now. And, we can have understanding for others, but also validate that little that was not okay. Whatever these other adults in your life when you were a child, you're not responsible for the stuff that was done to you. You didn't bring it on yourself. You didn't ask for it. It is not your fault in any way. But now that we're adults, it's giving that understanding to those littles and having that understanding that other adults, if they've always been that way, they may not change. So instead of holding our breath and, waiting for these others for an apology or for this or that, it's giving that to ourselves, going, okay, they're not going to change. Can I accept them as they are? We don't have to let people back in our lives. It's okay to love people way over there. That's what I say. I love everybody, and some I love way, way over there now, but I still love them and wish them the best. I don't no ill will on anybody, but it's giving that little that safety and security now, and not expecting it from others and from the outside. Though we do need that help, it's good to have, to like sharing that story with a good therapist that is there to help you work that out for yourself. A good therapist is somebody that's, wants to work themselves out of a job because they're giving you the tools you need for yourself to help to work through those things. And that's what we need, is to teach that little inside how to still laugh and still play and to let go of the anger and resentments and that so and so isn't sorry and that they still keep doing this stuff. So if we keep looking at them and all they continue to do, we don't see all that light and that beauty that's being poured into us. So I think that's a big one, to see and be grateful for all the good things that we've had in our lives, and all throughout, no matter how horrible our life has been, we're still here because there's been some good and some light in there. And to look at those parts and to appreciate that and to give that to ourselves and to our littles instead of looking on the outside. Again, though, it's nice to have that community. So finding that safe community where you can share and be validated, but not one that we keep going over and over and over the stories and keeping ourselves in it. So we need to share our story and get it out, but not get so caught up in our story that that's all it is, that we keep reliving it, because we don't have to. We've already grown up, we've already grown through it, and now we can move on as adults, playful adults. Keep that inner child alive, but don't let it drive the
Yeah,
bus.
I love what you said, like that we have a choice. This is something I really want to emphasize. We have a choice how we are going to respond to that. And I really love
Mhm.
how you explain that everybody can choose to heal. We just need to find safe environment to heal. And you said something that is so important. You don't have to tell your story over and over again. Tell it, find tools to heal yourself, and like then release it. Because the more we tell the story over and over again, we basically relive it, and we basically do it again and again, and still like it's almost like we don't want to let it go. It's part of us. And I know that part very well because I was one of those people who would like said the same story over and over again. But the moment when I chose to go back and heal, to find that peace and love within myself and forgive, that's the moment everything changed. When I found the tools to really help me release that pain, oh my God, I felt liberated. But it took me a long time to really realize that. But, because we are taught that we need to share the story over and over again, keep moving forward. But sometimes, like, you really need support from the society. It's not that people don't want to heal, people really want to heal, but we are never taught how to do it. And that's why we have this conversation to teach
Yes.
people how to do it, because we learn so many things in school, but we didn't learn the most important thing, how to deal with our emotions. Because every single one of us tried to do something about our sadness, our anger, our emotions, but we didn't know how to do it. We start journaling, we start meditating, we start telling stories to people, and all these emotions are coming up, and we have no clue how to deal with them because we never learned how to do it. And that's why I love this conversation. That's why this type of conversation is so important, that we teach people how to do it. And this is what I have noticed by doing so many healing sessions and doing so much inner child work with clients. Very often, when you start working on your inner child wounds, you will notice that the most important thing that your inner child needs is love and care and support and playfulness. That inner child just wants to be happy. So for somebody who is listening or watching this, how can somebody give to that inner child love, support, and how can we help our inner child be happy?
Allowing it to play. What is something that you always wanted to do when you were a child? What is something that you did that was a lot of fun? What were those little pockets of happiness and those things, going and watching a bug on the ground? I'm just being curious about that. Trying looking at things in a new way as if you were a child. Use your imagination in some way, and if you can't, then grab a children's book and read a children's book. If you do have children in your life, then go to a park and play with that child and take some cues. Let that child lead the way and help you reconnect with that child inside. Children on the outside are a great way to help us connect with that child on the inside. And if we don't have them, then that's okay. Maybe we have an animal we can play with. Or, like I said earlier, grabbing a children's book. What was your favorite children's story? And looking at that and reading that, or watching a kids movie or a kids cartoon. Did you watch those Saturday morning cartoons or whatever that was? There's many ways to get in touch with that, and that just let that child out to feel safe, that it's fun to play. And a lot of times our great ideas and stuff come to us when we're having that playful fun. We're not focused on anything. Maybe just stand up and spin or go on a swing. Whatever that is for you. Talk to that little. What is it that you want to do today? How do you want to get out and play? And maybe even there's another adult. You want to go play on a teeter totter or go do some things with another. Let's let our inner children out to play. Even though we're two adults, let's go do something fun. It's Annette and Susie did. They shared something on our Diamond Beauties group, and they were in a park and they went spinning around on a spinny toy thing. So just something like that. It doesn't have to be complicated, because children aren't complicated. They just play. Look at the world with some fresh eyes, and just ask that child inside what they want. What is it that you need from me in this moment?
Beautiful. I think very often we forget that we can still be children and play and do things that we love to do as a children. And this is where joy comes in our life. When we start doing things that we really feel inspired to do, really love to do, this is where everything shifts in our life. And I know that you went through so much in your life. What is the most important lesson that you learned in your life? What is the most important lesson pain taught you?
I think to slow down, to listen to my body and to honor it, because our spirits are limitless, but our bodies are not. So it's to honor this body, not treat it as a meat suit. But this body is like still our little. It might look like an adult now, but this is the one body we get. Whether we believe in reincarnation or whatever we choose to believe, we get this one body in this one lifetime. So we'll have this lifetime once, this body once, and then if you believe in reincarnation, another body, another time, whatever that is for you. But it's to be here now and to honor this body and what I'm here to learn through this body, to live through this body, to share the message through this body. But we need to take care. So the biggest lesson I've learned from the pain is to slow down. Slow and steady she grows is what I say. And I was rushed through, so that's something I took on myself and took on my little, because my mother wasn't going to have two in diapers, so I need to be potty trained at a year and a half. And she fled an abusive relationship. My biological father was alcoholic, so I have that understanding. It's no shame or blame for my mother. I still love my mother and wish her well. But that's where I took that on myself, that I needed to hurry up and grow up. And now as an adult, and with all the pain, I tried to grow so fast through everything that, okay, I'm ready for the next thing now, up on to the next thing, that it really, my body has let me know if I push it too much, I'm on the floor. So now I really need to listen to that and slow down and honor this body that's gotten me this far. Take it easy and enjoy being human in all of it. And all of it. When I'm feeling that pain, then I can appreciate and be grateful. Wow, that I have feelings, that I feel this pain. I'm in a physical body and I'm not cold hearted. I have feelings. I can cry. I feel sadness. I feel grief. So it's being grateful every moment, being grateful for the pain to teach me to honor this human body and to slow down and give myself more time to enjoy life, give myself more time to feel whatever feelings I need to feel, give my body time to just go, from it all. We give more time and energies to our vehicles and our phones and stuff like that. We charge them up and we unplug them some, but we don't give that same honor to our body. So it's honoring this body as my home in this life. And it's all of our true homes is the bodies. It's our temples. It's our place where our spirit is. It deserves our attention. And when we give it that, it's there for us. So I like to say, instead of pushing my body to work for me, I am now learning to work with my body. And even one step further, I'm learning to work through my body as part of this whole human experience.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's a very important message. And what you mentioned here is we have this belief that we need to rush through everything. And I think that's also something that we picked up from society, that we need to rush, we need to do all things, and we need to fit everything in our day, and we need to be perfect and put so many things on our plate. And that's not even enough. Bring more things on our plate. But sometimes we forget that we're just humans, our body still needs time to relax and, recharge. And sometimes I notice that we women tend to like really go so hard on us, like let's do everything and anything for everything around us. Let's make sure that everybody is happy, but very often we forget ourselves. And we need to take a moment just to pause and think about what do we want right now, how we feel right now. And I think that's the most important question that we need to ask ourselves during the day. What do I need now? How do I feel? What does my body need? And honor that. And I know that in your daily crumbs, you share wisdom and stories and inspiration and motivation for people to heal. And you take them on your journey, on your healing journey, and share your stories there as well. And I just want to know what legacy you're building throughout your life, your work, and your healing.
I hope it's a legacy of love and playfulness. I thought, my children, I want to leave them more memories than the money. And the ex, that's what I used to talk about. Because if we work, 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 and all that, but if we don't have the time with our children, they're not going to have those memories. And I just thought, and there's lots that I have forgotten, that we disassociate a lot when we're children. And even though we don't have memories of it, the body still went through that. So I wanted to be present with my children. I always wanted to be there for them. That's why I'm trying to build my little shop here at home, so that it's home and I'm always home for my children, that they've always got a home to come back to. So that's kind of like the legacy that I would like to leave, is that begin within legacy. That peace on earth begins within each single person, each individual, I say, because we're individe. So individual becoming an individual. So that's a legacy that I want to leave, a legacy of love and light and playfulness and enjoying our children, the ones on the inside and the ones on the
Beautiful.
outside.
Thank you so much for the work you do. Thank you so much for your big heart. Thank you for all your love you give to this world, because you're really an incredible woman, full of love, full of care, full of support. And I just want to say I love you. You're really an amazing person. Thank you for being here. And
I love you too. Thank you.
I just want to say, everybody who wants to connect with Christiana, she has an amazing party that happens every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's Miss Pot's party. It's always fun. It's a lot of people are joining and they really love it. She does medicine grass, like she explains how does it work, and does some healing as well. And also she pulls the cards and gives some messages, delivers messages, and she's beautiful, beautiful. Her Miss Potts party is always on Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, inside Diamond Beauty Forever group on Facebook. So you're more than welcome to join her. She is an incredible woman. And if this episode inspired you, moved you, touched you in any way, please share it with your friends and family members. This is the conversation that we want to spread to the world to bring more peace and healing to the world. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the work you do. Until next time, be brave, shine your light, because the world needs that love and light inside of you more than ever. I'm sending you lots of love and big hug. Bye for now.